In the first part of this lesson, I'll present the basic operations supported in Python to create a list, access its elements, append and remove elements, and query basic properties of an existing list. Some of this material may sound familiar to you from previous lessons, as I presented some list operations tangentially when the need arose. But this will be our first chance to make lists our focus of attention and present their functionality in an organized manner. Let's start with the most basic list operation, which is the list creation itself. You already know that the syntax for a list creation involves the use of the square brackets operator, surrounding a sequence of values separated by commas. The new list can be used as part of a Python expression, or on the right-hand side of an assignment should we want to save that list into a variable. In this example, variable numbers is used to save a list of 3 integer values set to 10, 20, and 30. Variable names is set to a list of strings John, Mary, Adam, Taylor, and Susan. Variable mixed list is a list of 3 elements of different types, including integer value 10, string John, and a nested list with 2 floating point numbers set to 1.1 and 2.2. Finally, variable empty list is set to exactly that, an empty list, by leaving the content of the square brackets empty. You're also familiar with the fact that the square brackets operator can serve the purpose of indexing an element in the list when it's used with the syntax shown here, where we have a list name followed by an index in brackets. Consider the list called names of the previous example, formed of 5 strings set to John, Mary, Adam, Taylor, and Susan. Each string occupies a fixed position in the list, called an index, and starting with position 0. You may then access the element at position 3 by using the list name followed by index 3 in brackets. Executing this sample print statement would show string Taylor on the console. The computational cost of an indexing operation is constant, or big O of 1, meaning that its performance doesn't depend on the number of elements currently present in the list. An interesting property of list indices is that they can also be negative numbers. In fact, each position in a list can be represented with 2 different indices, one positive and one negative, as shown here. An index of -1 represents the last element of the list. Index -2 represents the second to last, and so on. This alternative indexing system is useful when accessing a list relative to its last element, or when traversing a list backward. The following additional print statement extends the output of our previous sample code with the element at index -4, which is Mary. If you enjoyed this content, you may watch the rest of this lesson at computersciencecamp.com, linked in the description below. You'll be able to follow along with coding samples and problems in our embedded code editor. Drop your questions in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to help support the channel. Thank you, and happy coding!